As the flames devoured the Durnham estate, Sarah stood at the edge of the driveway, the night wind carrying the smoke in serpentine coils toward the treetops. She didn't cry. The fire was her cleansing. But deep in her gut, she knew the house had not given up all its secrets. Not yet. The day after the fire, she returned to the property with Jenny. The structure had collapsed inward, but the foundation remained. The basement was sealed off with caution tape, but Sarah insisted on descending again, this time with a forensic pathologist and an FBI archivist. That's when they uncovered a second trapdoor beneath the altar. This sub-basement had been missed during the initial raid. The air was colder, not just musty or damp, but unnaturally still, like breath held in a tomb. A narrow tunnel stretched beneath the house, lit only by the beams of their flashlights. At the end, they found a door, bolted shut with symbols etched into the wood. Symbols later identified as a corrupted blend of Kabbalistic and Druidic script. Inside was a room lined with shelves of human teeth. Each was labelled, catalogued and tagged, with its corresponding year. The earliest dates back to 1881. Sarah's flashlight paused over a name that made her gasp. Thomas Collins, her great-grandfather. "They were feeding off our bloodline," she whispered. What terrified her more was a photo tacked to the far wall, a sepia portrait of her face, or someone identical to her, labelled Margaret II. She hadn't realised it yet, but she wasn't just the last of the Collinses. She was bred for something else. The FBI classified the sub-basement as a cult crypt, but Sarah had begun to piece together something worse. In her great-aunt's final journal entries, recovered from a fireproof safe, Margaret detailed dreams, recurring nightmares of boys dragging her into a grey ocean, whispering her name through clenched teeth. However, there were other entries as well, more recent than Sarah had expected. Sarah has returned. The cycle is ready to renew. They had known she'd come. Margaret had prepared for her death not as an end, but as a passing of the torch. The rituals, the journals, even the inheritance, it was bait. The Durnhams hadn't wanted Sarah to inherit the house. They had wanted her to become the new keeper. But Sarah wasn't the same kind of Durham, and she would not carry the sins of their name. Still, the weight of the boys' final words haunted her. It's time. What did that truly mean? Jenny thought it was the eve of murder. But Sarah began to suspect something darker, that the ritual didn't just end the boys' lives, it sealed them somewhere not dead. 1 week after the house burned, Sarah began receiving anonymous packages. The first contained a 1940s phonograph cylinder, cracked and brittle. She took it to a sound restoration expert in Boston. What emerged chilled her to the marrow. A boy's voice, frail, cracking. "They say I'll live forever." They lied. "I hear the others. We scream, but no one listens. It's time. Please, it's time." Jenny collapsed after hearing it. "That's Tommy's voice," she whispered. Sarah believed her. But how could a child from 2011 and a boy from 1943 speak the exact words, in the same voice, across decades? That night, Sarah dreamed of 6 boys standing in her room. Their eyes were black, as if burnt from within, and their mouths moved in silence. But she heard them. "We are the harvest." She awoke, choking on the scent of burning antiseptic. Her bedroom door was open, though she remembered locking it. Sarah and Jenny launched an investigation into other families involved in the ancient tradition. Records revealed strange patterns. Families in Boston, Providence, New Haven, and Salem all suffered accidents around the 13th birthdays of their sons named Thomas. often under the guise of drownings, car crashes, or sudden illness. Each linked family had received letters of condolence from someone named MD. Margaret Durnham. What's worse, she wasn't working alone. A former member of the local sheriff's department, a now retired man named Ulrich Bain, agreed to speak on record. His voice trembled as he admitted, the Durnhams had contracts, legal ones, signed by desperate parents. It was always boys named Thomas, always the same age. They said it was symbolic, sacrifice of the twin soul. Twin soul. Sarah began researching esoteric traditions around the name Thomas. She discovered a legend buried in occult texts. Thomas, the twice born, a soul duplicated across time, fated to die young unless sealed by an ancestral guardian. The chosen guardian must share blood and name with the first Durham, or the souls will awaken. That's when Sarah remembered the photo, Margaret the second, not just her double, her destined role. But she had already destroyed the altar, or so she thought. Weeks later, during a thunderstorm, Sarah visited the site of the mansion, now a garden with 6 headstones. As she stood before them, the wind picked up. The trees groaned like something massive stirred beneath them. The earth trembled. One of the headstones, Thomas Johnson, 1977, tilted slightly, then cracked. From the splits, something oozed. Not water, not oil, but black ichor, thick and slow, reeking of iron and burnt sugar. Jenny screamed. They called the authorities, but when officials arrived, the ground was dry. No cracks, no ichor, no evidence. But Sarah knew what she saw. The seal was breaking. Without the rituals, the spirits of the boys had begun to slip through, twisted, fragmented by trauma and rage. Sarah created a digital archive, the Thomas Project, to document everything. She uploaded diary entries, phonograph recordings, legal documents, and testimonies from other families. Thousands of people across New England began reporting sightings. A pale boy at the foot of their beds, whispering, "It's time." Always around July. Always near the 13th birthday of someone named Thomas. Then came the mass email. Subject, 6 must rise. It included GPS coordinates, all in wooded areas, all near forgotten properties owned by Durham connected estates. Sarah and Jenny chose to investigate one, a collapsed barn in Vermont. Inside, they found a mummified body in ceremonial robes, clutching a book bound in skin. It detailed the completion of the ritual. When all 6 souls were gathered, a 7th boy, unaffected by death, must enter the chamber and say the words, "I accept the gift." Only then would the cycle end. Sarah understood too late. She was pregnant. The father had died 2 months earlier in a car crash. The baby's name? Chosen before she knew any of this, Thomas. Sarah went into labour 1 month early. In the hospital, the power went out. Jenny was there holding her hand. The generator kicked in, but the machines went wild. Heart monitors flatlined. Security footage showed 6 shadows gathering in the delivery room, despite no physical entry. The baby was born still. Nurses screamed, but then he gasped. His first word 3 weeks later wasn't "Mama," it was time. Sarah disappeared 3 months later. Jenny found only a note. "I understand now. I can't undo what they did, but I can hold it. Please keep it in me. As long as I breathe, they can't return. Protect him. Never let anyone rename him. Never speak the ritual. And whatever you do, never let him turn 13. Today, the Durham lands remain quiet, but every July, locals say the wind howls louder. The air grows thick, and in the memorial garden some claim the headstones breathe. A marble plaque now rests in the centre, in memory of the 6 Thomases. May their time never come again. But Jenny knows better, because Thomas, the 7th, draws symbols in chalk, one he shouldn't say, and at night he whispers in his sleep. 6 were called, I was chosen. I am not a boy, I am a vessel. It's almost time.